Go.
Hi, this is your host, Steven. Welcome to MHS Sports Talk. Alright, today we'll be talking about everything you need to know in the world of sports. First, we'll be starting off with Amani giving you his top 5 NBA players for next season. Then followed by Jack giving you his picks for the NHL playoffs this year. And then followed by Nate, who will be giving you his breakout players this season in the MLB. Then John talking about the NFL. And finally ending with Felipe giving you an update on the Super League.
Hi, I'm Amani, and you're watching Hoops Talk.
This week, I'll be ranking my top 5 players of the 2020-2021 NBA season. At number 1, I have Steph Curry. Steph Curry led the league in scoring with 32 points per game and had one of the most unbelievable seasons of his career. He's been red hot all season, leading a not-so-talented Warriors team to the playoffs. And though the Warriors lost to the Lakers and the Grizzlies in the play-in game, I would not be surprised if next year, with the return of Klay Thompson, the Warriors were able to compete and get back on top. At number 2, I have Nikola Jokic. In my opinion, he's this year's most valuable player. Jokic nearly averaged a triple-double this year and is leading a Denver Nuggets team into the playoffs without their star point guard Jamal Murray. It's been a very interesting series against Damian Lillard and the Blazers, and the series is currently tied at 3-2 with the Nuggets leading. At number 3, I have Joel Embiid. He's had an incredible season and is an MVP candidate, putting up amazing numbers. Embiid and All-Star Ben Simmons have led the Sixers to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and is averaging 28 points per game and 10 rebounds. Embiid could possibly lead the Sixers out of the East. At number 4, I have Kevin Durant. KD has impressed everyone with his performance this season, coming off an Achilles injury which most players do not return to full form with. KD has had no problem coming back and teaming up with Kyrie and Harden, 2 of the most dynamic scorers in the NBA, and has led the Nets to the 2nd seed. They've already beat the Celtics in 5 and now have to face the Milwaukee Bucks and will most likely make it out of the East. At number 5, and this may be a little surprising, but I have Luka Doncic. Doncic continues to be one of the top 10 players in the NBA. The Mavericks faced the Clippers in the first round and could possibly cause an upset like they almost did last year. Doncic is extremely competitive and extremely talented.
And that's it for this episode of Hoops Talk. It's been a very difficult year due to COVID, but I've had an amazing time making these videos. Thank you for tuning in. And now on to Steven with the NHL.
What's up, guys? Welcome to NHL Talk. Today we're going to be looking at the new playoffs, the new format, divisions, all that. Get into what's different than last year. And we're going to be going through my personal picks. So let's get right into it.
Especially the third period. Turnover, Suzuki's, he's in, he scores!
First, in the East, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be playing the New York Islanders. I'm taking the Penguins in this one, but I think it's going to be a close series and will go to 7 games. Next in the East is the Bruins and the Washington Capitals. The Bruins have been the better team in the regular season matchups, and I think the Bruins will continue to be more successful against the Caps and will win in 6. Then, in the divisional final, I think that Boston will beat Pittsburgh and advance to the semifinals, but that series could go either way. Next is the West Division, starting with the Colorado Avalanche with the St. Louis Blues. I think this series will be a breeze for Colorado and they will sweep. Then followed by a good matchup between the Minnesota Wild and the Vegas Golden Knights. Many people think that Vegas is going to win because they are the better team in this series, but they have struggled all season against the Wild, and I think the Wild will pull away with this series in 7, but it will be close. I think the difference maker in the series will be the goaltending from Marc-Andre Fleury. But no matter who wins this series, I think they will lose to the Colorado Avalanche in the divisional final, and the Avalanche will advance to the semifinals. Now we move to the Central Division, which starts with the Carolina Hurricanes facing off against the Nashville Predators. The Hurricanes have dominated the Predators all season and will dominate the series and win in 5. Next in the Central Division is a very exciting series, the Battle of Florida. For the first time ever, the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning will face off in a playoff series, and they are both very talented teams this year. But Captain Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov, two of the Lightning's most talented players who have not played all season, are returning just in time for the playoffs. I think this will bring the Lightning back to the powerhouse they were in the playoffs last year and prepare them to defend their Stanley Cup title. But I think they will beat the Panthers in 7 because they are a very talented team as well. Then I think the Lightning will beat the Hurricanes in the divisional final to advance to the semifinals. Finally, the North Division, or the Canadian Division. The Maple Leafs will take on the Canadiens in the first round, and the Maple Leafs are an extremely talented team and have the potential to be a Stanley Cup contender. But the Maple Leafs always lose in the playoffs, but maybe this will be the year. I have them winning in 6 in this one. Followed by a good matchup between the Oilers and the Jets. Both good teams, but the Oilers have been the better team during the regular season. I'm taking them in 6. And I think the Maple Leafs will surpass the Oilers and advance to the semifinal. So the 4 teams I predict in the semifinal are the Boston Bruins, Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We haven't seen any of these teams play each other this season, so it's hard to predict what will happen. All these teams have Stanley Cup caliber talent, so I think you can make an argument for any of these teams. But I personally think that the Colorado Avalanche will win the Stanley Cup, led by their young talent and star player Nathan MacKinnon. I think they have the slight edge over these teams because of the speed they play. But I think whichever team wins is going to be a very close series no matter what. That's all for my picks. That's all for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning into this segment. It's been a pleasure making these for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy watching the playoffs. See you guys.
What up? I'm Nate and welcome to the MLB Experience. Today we'll be talking about MLB players who have been off to a steaming hot start. Some of them you could see coming, others you couldn't, like Adolis Garcia.
Win the game. And that's in the air, out to right field. Tucker is back to the wall.
Adolis had a total of 3 ABs last year. 3. Now he's batting .283 and has 16 home runs, which is tied for second in the league. Another breakout, which I expected, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
0-2 pitch hit high in the air, deep left center field, gone! Vladdy's big night continues.
Who was hyped up, obviously. He's come into his own now, and he's become one of the best hitters in the league. He's currently batting .335 with 17 home runs early on the season.
And as I'm editing this, Vladdy just hit a moonshot to Lansdowne to tie the game in the 9th inning with 2 outs. One special player Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is.
Breaking ball hit high and deep to left field. Tie game! The best hitter on the planet right now has done it again, and it's a brand new ball game at Fenway.
Fernando Tatis Jr. is also off to a hot start.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
A drive out to left field for Tatis. The Slam Diego Padres are on the road in New York, and Fernando Tatis Jr. has put them on top, 6-2.
As he's batting in the high 200s with 16 home runs, which is tied for second in the league, only 1 off the lead, which is remarkable because he's had 50 less ABs than the 2 leaders. Tatis is a once-in-a-generation type player. Future of the league. He's already been on the cover of MLB The Show. He's electric. It's just a Tatis thing to do.
Off again, Tatis. Hosmer strikes out, throw down there. And a stolen base. Keep the foot up. Steals second. Then going.
But the big headline of the season so far has been Shohei Ohtani.
First pitch swinging.
Oh, and first pitch crushing! Oh, man! Lean into it!
Shohei has currently pitched over 36 innings and has a 2.72 ERA. Sub 3 ERA is very good. I think it's even better when you hit better than pitch. Shohei currently has 14 home runs. He led the league multiple times earlier and is batting in the 200s, high 200, mid 200 range. Now on to Johnny with his NFL segment.
Thanks, I'm Johnny Madej. I'm going to be breaking down a couple of the prospects that the Patriots took in the 2021 NFL Draft. The Patriots had a solid draft class this year. Everyone's been talking about the star quarterback from the University of Alabama, Mac Jones, but not a lot of people are talking about the other draft choices that the Patriots had this year. In the second round of the draft, the New England Patriots took stud defensive tackle Christian Barmore from University of Alabama. This was a great selection for the New England Patriots as he can play both one technique and three technique, allowing Belichick to move him around as he's an extremely versatile player. I think he's best suited for the three technique role, but that doesn't mean he can't play one technique, as he was very good at both. He has great bend and great instincts at defensive line. He generates a fair amount of interior pass rush, and he does a great job of punishing offensive linemen for making mistakes. He should be a great interior defensive lineman for the Patriots, and I think this was an incredible steal at the second round, as he was one of my top interior defensive linemen in this year's class. In the third round, the Patriots took Ronnie Perkins from Oklahoma. Although he is a tad bit undersized at 250 pounds, he has great flexibility and speed off the edge. I really like his dip move, and he also has a solid speed to power move as well. However, he has issues in the run game, as bigger offensive linemen really punished him in the run game. I think the Patriots, in the short term, will use him as a third down pass rushing specialist to try to get pressure off the edge fast, while they develop his run defense so he can play all three downs in the future. In the fifth round, the Patriots took Michigan linebacker Cameron McGrone. At 6'1", 236, he has a really solid frame. He is a force in run defense and has great range and tackling ability, but he can also take on blockers too. However, my main concern with him was his ability in the passing game, as he was not good at coverage. He was often slow to react and had a couple of times where he looked lost in coverage completely. He could develop into a solid middle linebacker role, as he has great frame to take on blockers and has good speed. However, if they don't work on his coverage ability, I don't think he will last long other than in obvious running situations. Don't expect this guy to be seen the field a lot other than on special teams while the Patriots develop his pass coverage skills. These are just a few of the prospects that the Patriots took in a heavily defensive focused class outside of Mac Jones and a few other late round draft picks. Overall, I thought this was a good draft class for the Patriots, and now all they have to do is develop these prospects. If these prospects can develop, these could be stud players for the Patriots' future. Now all we can do is sit back and watch if these players grow. Now, on to the next segment.
Just after midnight on April 22, the owners of the Premier League in Europe announced to everyone a deal for formation they called the Super League. By Wednesday morning, French politicians and the other organizations made the protest to try to prevent the Super League from announcing that. The 12 races and the most famous group in England, Italy, and Spain were more important than other teams. The British government even said they may pass legislation to stop from going ahead. All of this happened because the owners want a lot of money. The politicians and the fans say no. This was the first time in Premier League history the game was cancelled due to the fans. On the May 2nd, for the team Manchester United stormed the field and they riot in order to protest the Super League.
right, this has been the last and final episode of MHS Sports. We hope you enjoyed watching, and this is all for MHS Sports. Peace.